The logical outcome of turning taxonomy upside down was that the study of evolution might provide an explanation of mind. Up to Lamarck, mind was the explanation of the biological world. But hey presto, the question now arose, is the biological world the explanation of mind? That which was the explanation now became that which was to be explained. About 3/4 of Lamarck's Philosophie Zoologique, 1809, is an attempt, very crude, to build a comparative psychology. He achieved and formulated a number of very modern ideas. One, that you cannot attribute to any creature psychological capacities for which it has no organs. Two, that mental process must always have physical representation. And three, that the complexity of the nervous system is related to the complexity of mind. There the matter rested for 150 years, mainly because evolutionary theory was taken over not by a Catholic heresy but by a Protestant heresy in the mid-19th century. Darwin's opponents, you may remember, were not Aristotle and Aquinas, who had some sophistication, but fundamentalist Christians whose sophistication stopped with the first chapter of Genesis. The question of the nature of mind is something which the 19th century evolutionists tried to exclude from their theories, and the matter did not come up again for serious consideration until after World War II. I'm doing some injustice to some heretics along the road, notably Samuel Butler and others. In World War II, it was discovered that sort of complexity entails mind. And since that discovery, we know that wherever in the universe we encounter that sort of complexity, we are dealing with mental phenomena. It's as materialistic as that. Let me try to describe for you that order of complexity, which is in some degree a technical matter. Russell Wallace sent a famous essay to Darwin from Indonesia. In it, he announced his discovery of natural selection, which coincided with Darwin's. Part of his description of the struggle for existence is interesting. The action of the principle, the struggle for existence, is exactly like that of the steam engine, which checks and corrects any irregularities long before they become evident. And in like manner, no unbalanced deficiency in the animal kingdom can ever reach any conspicuous magnitude, because it would make itself felt at the very first step by rendering existence difficult and extinction almost sure to follow. The steam engine with a governor is simply a circular train of causal events, with somewhere a link in that chain, such that the more of something, the less of the next thing in the circuit. The wider the balls of the governor diverge, the less the fuel supply. If causal chains with that general characteristic are provided with energy, the result will be, if you're lucky and things balance out, a self-correcting system. Wallace, in fact, proposed the first cybernetic model. Nowadays, cybernetics deals with much more complex systems of this general kind. And we know that when we talk about the processes of civilization or evaluate human behavior, human organization, or any biological system, we are concerned with self-corrective systems. Basically, these systems are always conservative of something. As in the engine with the governor, the fuel supply is changed to conserve, to keep constant the speed of the flywheel. So always in such systems, changes occur to conserve the truth of some descriptive statement, some component of the status quo. Wallace saw the matter correctly, and natural selection acts primarily to keep the species unvarying, but it may act at higher levels to keep constant that complex variable which we call survival. Dr. Lane noted that the obvious can be very difficult for people to see. That is because people are self-corrective systems. They are self-corrective against disturbance. And if the obvious is not of a kind that they can easily assimilate without internal disturbance, their self-corrective mechanisms work to sidetrack, to hide, even to the extent of shutting the eyes, if necessary, or shutting off various parts of the process of perception. Disturbing information can be framed like a pearl so that it doesn't make a nuisance of itself. And this will be done according to the understanding of the system itself of what would be a nuisance. This too, the premise regarding what would cause disturbance, is something which is learned and then becomes perpetuated or conserved. At this conference, fundamentally, we deal with the three of these enormously complex systems or arrangements of conservative loops. One is the human individual, its physiology and neurology, conserved body temperature, blood chemistry, the length and size and shape of organs during growth and embryology, and all the rest of the body's characteristics. This is a system which conserves descriptive statements about the human being, body or soul. For the same is true of the psychology of the individual, where learning occurs to conserve the opinions and components of the status quo. Second, we deal with the society in which that individual lives, and that society is again a system of the same general kind. And third, we deal with the ecosystem, the natural biological surroundings of these human animals. Let me start from the natural ecosystems around man. An English oak wood or tropical forest or a piece of desert is a community of creatures. In the oak wood, perhaps 1,000 species, perhaps more. In the tropical forest, perhaps 10 times that number of species live together. I may say that very few of you here have ever seen such an undisturbed system. There are not many of them that they've mostly been messed up by Homo sapiens, who either exterminated some species or introduced others which became weeds and pests or altered the water supply, etc., etc. We are rapidly, of course, destroying all the natural systems in the world, the balanced natural systems. We simply make them unbalanced, but still natural. Be that as it may, those creatures and plants live together in a combination of competition and mutual dependency. And it is that combination that is the important thing to consider. Every species has a primary Malthusian capacity. Any species that does not potentially produce more young than the number of the population of the parental generation is out. Then do. It is absolutely necessary for every species and for every such system that its components have a potential positive gain in the population curve. But if every species has potential gain, it is then quite a trick to achieve equilibrium. All sorts of interactive balances and dependencies come into play. But it is these processes that have this sort of circuit structure that I have mentioned. The Malthusian curve is exponential. It is the curve of population growth, and it is not inappropriate to call this population explosion. You may regret that organisms have this explosive characteristic, but you may as well settle for it. Creatures that don't are out. On the other hand, in a balanced ecological system whose underpinnings are of this nature, it is very clear that any monkeying with the system is likely to disrupt the equilibrium. Then the exponential curves will start to appear. Some plant will become a weed, some creatures will be exterminated, and the system as a balanced system is likely to fall to pieces. What is true of the species that live together in the wood is also true of the groupings and sorts of people in the society, who are similarly in an uneasy balance of dependency and competition. And the same truth holds right inside you, where there is an uneasy physiological competition and mutual dependency among the organs, tissues, cells, and so on. Without this competition and dependency, you would not be, because you cannot do without any of the competing organs and parts. If any of the parts did not have the expansive characteristics, they would go on, and you would go on too. So that even in the body, you have a liability